How do you switch off when your job is also your passion? For the last 3 weeks, I have been exploring the mountains of Canada, and it has been incredible. I haven't been out of the country since before COVID, and I hadn't had a holiday since 2017, 2018. So it was an incredible couple of weeks away and a chance just to forget about everything for a while. But when you're going to somewhere like the mountains of Canada, obviously you want to bring a camera. My goal before going away was to switch off, to have a mental break from everything going on. But the problem is, when you take a camera that can also shoot video, you start thinking about stories and the filming you could do. And the more you think about that, the less you enjoy just being there. And I didn't help myself by bringing my DJI mics. So I did have a form of audio as well as visuals if I'd wanted to do something. And I thought about going out, making a YouTube video, and I thought about going out and making a short film. And I spent more time thinking about that than just being present. And at one point, it almost got me down, thinking maybe I'm not actually making the most out of this trip for me personally. And I managed to swing around and just enjoy being there. But it did make me think a little bit about this whole idea of trying to switch off. How easily can we do it, and how can we make it easier for ourselves? I don't think it's a bad thing to always be switched on, to always be thinking about opportunities, and if you are a creative, to be stirring that creative brain when you are in a new environment. That's inspiration, that is a chance to re-energize your wealth of inspiration or idea well. But what can happen is you come back and you don't feel like you've actually rested. You feel like you have just continued to work and not taken that moment to stop, reflect, move forward. Now, my brain being my brain, the way I managed to get out of that headspace and into a more enjoyed, relaxed mindset was to actually tell myself that I can use just the photos for whatever purpose I want. I don't need to go make a film. I could use these photos for a new Skillshare class, or to make this YouTube video, or to sell online, which I'm not going to do. But there are different ways of using the small amount I am capturing rather than trying to think, how much more can I capture when I'm here? I wanted to be happy with the photos just for me personally, just as a chance to look back and have a memory. But I'm mentally kind of geared up towards thinking about what is the benefits I can get back from investing my time in this. And I think that's one of the dangers of following your passion as a career, is you can end up almost monetizing it without realizing. For instance, I can't remember the last time I went and made a film for me without thinking about how it will forward my career, or without thinking about a client on the end of it. And one of the reasons I wanted to stop the commercial work, which I've now done, is so I can go and pursue my own films, which is what caused this problem, because I thought, well, here I am in a beautiful landscape with a suburbia that looks like Netflix. Why aren't I making a film? I can go back and make a film there some other time. I don't have to think of every moment as if the clock is ticking. And time is a currency of sorts that we always feel we are running out of. So really, I wanted to make this video to actually just stop, and rather than focus on a film or story, just to enjoy the experience that I had with photography. This was the first time in years that I had done a photography project, not thinking about film, but just enjoying snapping away. And it was amazing. I really enjoyed taking that opportunity to just explore a new city, a new town, a new landscape, without worrying about the narrative as much as just capturing what was around me. Some of the places that I saw in Canada, where we were staying near Banff, were unlike anything I'd ever seen before. And even just exploring the suburbs of a Canadian city was something different to what I had experienced the last time I went to Canada, which is very much more of a city tourist approach. So I just thought I would talk through some of these images and explain why I decided to take some of the photographs that I did. These first ones are what I would call stock photos, in the sense that you could find these photos pretty much instantly with a Google search, because everyone goes and takes photos of Lake Louise. This is the lake I am almost certain that DJI and Red Bull or GoPro have done adverts over the years, because it is beautiful. You have the leading lines, you have the reflective water, you have the amazing sky. It's difficult to take a bad photo here. And for me, being there and you see plenty of tourists taking photos, you kind of feel like you're obliged to take that photo. And I did, obviously, because I'm showing you them. But what I prefer are the photos that maybe other people wouldn't take. So, for instance, in my younger years, I always thought architecture would be a cool career, which I did not pursue. But I still enjoy photographing architecture, and that comes down both to the cityscapes as well as the suburban landscapes, which were new to me. And what I enjoyed so much about the houses out there is the colour and the shape. Unlike in Britain, where everything is brick and tall and narrow by and large, in Canada everything is wide with shallow sloped ceilings, and there are beautiful colours in the walls of a house. And this interests me more because it's more of a reflection of the people and the culture. Filming nature and landscape is something I love, and photographing landscape is something that I do enjoy. But it's one of those things that it tells you something about the place, but not necessarily the people. Whereas photographing even just the lamppost or the roads, they give you more of a flavour of the different environment to the one that you know. And now when I look back, I don't just think about hiking up a mountain and seeing a bunch of other tourists there, which, is a beautiful place and I did enjoy that. But I can think back to walking with just me and my partner, walking around the town and seeing those sights that just felt so new and different to me. Another difference I noticed between North America and the UK are the shapes of the vehicles out there. The grills are always massive over there, and the general shape of North American cars have a different vibe. And for me, that was something that I thought, this is quite interesting just to remember that as a difference, as a observation that actually really stirred me out there. And the last category that I did enjoy for a more personal reason is the photos that I took of the people I was with. Because they're the ones that you're going to look back at realistically in 30 years' time and think about that trip and that memory. And remember, it's not just about what you were seeing or what you were doing or what the output was that you were going for. It's about who you were with and the reason you went. And even though these were the last photos that I edited, they're the ones that probably make me smile the most when I look back. All of these were shot on my Fuji X-T3 with the 23mm lens, which I actually ended up buying the day before this trip. I'd been looking at it for a long time, but I couldn't justify purchasing it. I didn't need to. Most of my lenses are EF mounts, and I thought, what's the point of investing in new lenses? But now I have it. It's kind of one of those tools that I can take on just any trip I go on, or I can use it as behind the scenes for a project. My dream scenario would have been to have taken an old manual film camera, like a 35mm camera, because that way I wouldn't even have the ability to think about making a film. But the problem comes then in transporting film through X-ray machines at airports is really difficult. So I'd have to get the film processed before I flew back, which is a whole other distraction from what you're trying to do. So really, I don't know how best to manage this next time I go away. And if anyone has any ideas, I'd be very interested. Don't get me wrong, I really did relax and enjoy myself, and it was one of the best trips I've ever experienced. But it just did leave me reflecting on how do we switch off? How do we separate ourselves from the work we do when that work is our passion? I guess this video is less of a statement and more of a question of what can I do to improve this next time? So feel free to drop me a comment, a question, or anything below. So until next time, see you soon.